That is one big red candle. The market is tanking today. And is this the start of a major crash? Are things about to drop even further? Find out in today's video. What's going on, everyone? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading. And all the traders out there, all the investors watching the markets today, you've seen this massive move lower here on the SPX, but interestingly enough, it's only a little over 2%. It's not as extreme as it feels, right? And the market hasn't had a 5% pullback since April of this year, 2025. And you might be asking, what triggered this? Well, let's take a look and get into the reasons why we saw this big sell-off. And it had to do with President Trump's post on Truth Social. Let's take a look at it. I'm not going to read this all to you, but this is the catalyst that sent the market lower this morning from President Trump, and it's related to issues with China. And we'll just highlight a few things here, but he says some very strange things are happening in China. They are becoming very hostile and sending letters to countries throughout the world that they want to impose export controls on each and every element of production having to do with rare earths, so on and so forth. And he goes on to talk about how he was supposed to meet with President Xi. You could see, and he says, I've not spoken with President Xi because there was no reason to do so. And they were supposed to meet, but he's saying that that meeting is not going to happen. But what he's saying, and this is the reason why there's weakness in the market, he says, I will be forced as the president of the United States of America to financially counter their move. For every element they have been able to monopolize, he's talking about rare earth metals, we have too. I never thought it would come to this. Perhaps as with all things, the time has finally come. And he goes on to say, potentially painful, it will be a very good thing in the end for the USA. One of the policies that we are calculating at this moment is a massive increase of tariffs on Chinese products coming into the United States of America. There are many other countermeasures that are likewise under serious consideration. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And so obviously we all remember what happened back in April when we had Liberation Day and we had that huge drop. The market saw this news and bang, it dropped. But let's go ahead and take a look at the move and what happened. And let's talk about where we're going to go from here. Okay, so here's a chart of the SPX, and you can see currently at the time that we are looking at this, the SPX is down 108 points, 108.83, and that's obviously changing as time is moving on. But you could see that we nearly made all-time highs before we started selling off, and this is just a massive bodied candle, and we got through the 20-day exponential moving average, which typically when that happens, if you go back to the last few times here on September 2nd, we had a rally. Here on the 21st of August, we had a rally. Here on August 1st, we had a rally. But we broke down through that 20-day exponential moving average. And let me bring this up here on the 3-minute so I can show you just when the carnage started. Right here, we were just kind of chopping along. It was looking like a green bullish day. There were some big moves. APLD had nice earnings. It was popping. And then right here on the announcement, bang. 2 3-minute candles. The SPX dropped from the top of this wick down to the bottom of this wick, 76 points. And I'm sure people out there who were in day trades that were protected with stops got stopped out, as did I. And then this thing retraced a bit and dumped even further. And then it's just been a slow bleed to where we are right now. We have the 50 above us and a large volume node as well. And so we are getting a little bit of buying that's coming in right now, but we know that October typically is known for weakness. This is when things typically bottom out. We haven't had a 5% correction since April. So could this be the start of a true correction or at least a 5% pullback? Possibly. Let's just measure out how far we have dropped here today. So from the highs to the lows, we're at 2.39%. Again, it seems bigger than it is, but to get to 5%, we would actually have to come down here to 64.25, which would put us in between these thick volume nodes. We have some thin volume here. So potentially we could see that 5% pullback. That would be a great buying opportunity, a great long. But what we want to see to monitor whether or not this is going to be something more prolonged is what sort of follow up is there after this announcement from Trump? Is there a follow through with these tariff measures? Because as we know from past experience, he's said that he's going to follow through with tariffs only to then go back on his word with that. So we have to watch and see how this transpires, how it plays out. And if there's going to be follow through or more rhetoric around it, then we can see further downside, right? And we got to watch that 5% first. But before we get to 5%, we could see that we have this 50-day exponential moving average. We'd probably get a little bit of a bounce. And then if we just had a little bounce drop through that, then potentially we could see that 5%. But I will say this, the bulls have been so strong in the last several months that any dip is getting bought up, and there's still plenty of time left before this day's over. We can't rush a judgment that things are just going to continue to drop. But as of now, the bulls, off of this new tariff information against China, we're seeing some weakness. The bears are celebrating, and let's see how this plays out. Is this the start of an actual correction? Are we going to drop 5 to 10% finally? Or will the bulls come in and buy this back up? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate your support. Make it a great day. And as always, honor the moment. Oh, yeah.